Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, please do watch the very end, and if you end up loving this video or liking me, then hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell beside it so you can get notified firsthand whenever I post a new video. Everybody has stories to tell, right? Some people's stories might be more interesting than the others, some might have more stories than the others, but I believe student nurses among the set that have more stories than the others, especially new student nurses, going to the hospital for the first time, meeting new characters, patients, patient relatives, meeting behaviors, even from the doctors, the nurses, everybody. I believe we have a lot of stories to tell. And today I'll be sharing with you guys the story of the first time I went to the mortuary. The first time I went to the mortuary was in the night, and it was as uneventful as it could be. It was in my first semester when I and my friends used to go to the hospital to volunteer. We used to go to A&E in the nights anytime we had the chance, any night we had the chance. We used to go there in the night to help out, volunteer, whatnot. So this night, that fateful night that I went to the mortuary, we lost a patient, unfortunately. And they were like, okay, after doing the last office and whatnot, they were like, okay, we're going to take this patient to the mortuary. I don't know why I keep saying hospital. We're going to take this patient to the mortuary. And I was like, oh, I want to see the mortuary. And before my brain could process what was happening, my leg had already started moving with them. And my brain was like, okay, I think we're doing this. All right. So we got to the mortuary and we dropped off the corpse. And I noticed that they kept corpses outside. I was like, what the fork, what the spoon, what the plates? I was like, this is wrong. Even if they are dead, like, why would you keep them outside? Like, I wouldn't even, if my loved one should die or if I should die, I wouldn't want to be kept outside. Like, bro, have respect. So I was like, this hospital not try to fear Nigeria, cause the hospital of the whole country join. I was like, nah, this is wrong. So after we dropped the corpse, we went back to the hospital, we went back to A&E, and that was it. I wasn't scared, nothing. I didn't even have nightmares. It was just like every normal day. I was like, okay, I think you're growing a backbone, Bechi. And I was so proud of myself. When I was telling everybody that had ears, anybody that wanted to hear, that the mortuary in the hospital was horrible. Like, why would they were keeping corpses outside? Like, I was telling them that the mortuary was full and they were keeping corpses outside. Like, what insolence! How dare they? Anyways, fast forward to second semester. Now we are on our posting. So on the 5th week of this posting, I got posted to male surgical ward, which is not so far from the mortuary. So a couple of my friends were like, they want to go to the mortuary. My colleagues actually, they want to go to my mortuary. They want to see how it is, and they were like, "Bitch, are you coming?" I was like, "Nah, I've gone there before. I'm not going there again." And then I was listening to their conversation. They were talking about some places in the mortuary that I didn't get to see that night, and I was like, okay, I want to see. Curiosity got the best of me. Like, no, I want to see. I actually want to see now. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go with you guys. And we went there. So we had to wait for the mortuary attendant. Of course, he was the one that would take us around. And this guy came out and he was like giving us rules and stuff that when we enter inside, we shouldn't laugh, we shouldn't talk. Any question we have, we should like keep the question for when we come out and stuff like that. And we're like, okay. And he was like, before you enter, you have to pray. All of us will pray. I was like, hey, this one started with we have to pray. Let us pray. So after he finished talking to us and it was time to enter, we prayed. And he opened this gate. And of course, I saw the bodies outside. I was like, of course, they're keeping bodies outside. But first of all, that wasn't where he took us to. He took us to the side of the compound, and there was like a little building there, like very old. The door was old. The door is old, and is wooden and stuff like that. So he unlocked this door. He was like, this is where abandoned bodies stay. He unlocked the door, like the padlock, But then before he opened the door, he paused for a while, like, and then he leaned towards the door. But I couldn't see his mouth. I was behind him. So I was like, the first thing that came to my head, I remembered all the stories they've told me about mortuaries. Like, before the mortuary attendant opens the door, they would knock and now talk to the corpses that they should arrange themselves, they are coming in and stuff like that. I was like, is this what this nigga is doing? Is this what this bro is doing? Like, is that stuff actually real? And I was like, okay. And then after a while, he opened the door. More. Jesus Christ. Hey, I can basically see it in my head now. Like, I'm feeling goosebumps on my body. And I'm tearing up a little bit. Don't ask me why I'm tearing up. Like, I was seeing skeletons. Like, these bodies are abandoned. I was legit seeing skeletons, and then bodies that had both skeleton and decayed flesh. And the smell, it stank. It stunk. It stinked. Bro, it was smelling. I was like, no, not my asthmatic self entering inside here, no. And he was like, come closer and do what? Oga, come closer and do what? I shall went closer. Curiosity. I didn't enter inside. I was just at the door, and he was like talking about the bodies, and I was just looking. I saw babies. I was seeing tiny skulls. So they were just, the children were packed one side. Then there were some bodies on the floor. There was like a table that went around the building. There are some bodies on the floor, like as if they separated them. And then he was telling us the floor was like kind of, you know, like all these gen houses that has sand and oil, engine oil and stuff on the floor, how black it used to be. That's how the floor was. And he was like, this thing is flesh. This thing is like, it's their body. Like, if you pack it up now, it can be like two bodies. And then nigga was not telling us, you know, now in the Bible, dust you, how they say it, dust you came, dust you shall return. But you know that stuff now. I don't know why it's not coming together in my head now. I was like, bro, don't say that right now. I'm already feeling somehow. You're telling me dust I came, dust I shall return. Don't say that. Don't tell me that. Hey, we're asking like, okay, what kind of bodies? Like, how are these bodies abandoned? Like, how? And it was like, okay, so usually kidnappers, thieves, people that died on the road, like road accident, and nobody identified their bodies. And I was like, the babies don't come. I don't understand. Why? And you know even that you need big ragra to bury babies. You don't need too much wahala to bury children. And then he was like, all these people with family problems, they can't bury. And I'm like, what kind of family problem would you have that won't let you to lay your child to rest? It's wrong. All shades, all sorts, all types, all colors of wrong. I'm like, why? What kind of family problem would you have that wouldn't let you bury your child? After everything, after we finish inhaling everything and finish being shook, he now locked the door. Now took us to the side I saw that night where the bodies were outside, and I was like, come and explain why are there bodies outside. Okay, I didn't ask him the question, but in my head. And I was like, okay, that these bodies are outside because they are new, and they keep bodies outside, new bodies outside, so that they can be embalmed. And I was like, oh. And then he was telling us that inside is not exactly well ventilated, so the person doing the embalming needs a well ventilated place. So when he became in charge, became in charge of the mortuary, he started keeping the bodies outside to embalm them. And I was like, wait, I finished giving people wrong information. They were bodies covered. They were covered in trapper. There was this body of a big lady that was turned somehow. She was lying on her side, kind of on her stomach, kind of something. I was like, why did they keep this woman like this as bad? They'll just carry body and throw her, as in it's wrong. I was like, shall let me listen, I've been wrong the first time, I might be wrong this time. And he was now telling us stuff about embalmment. So he went to that lady and he opened, she had long hair, it was braided all back, and she was lying down on her side, like I said, and her abdomen was big, and he was like, she was pregnant. I bet she is pregnant. and she was going to give birth, but she died. She and the baby didn't survive. They didn't make it, so they died. May their souls rest in peace. And anyways, he was now showing us that he kept her like that so that the embalmment will reach the abdomen first and also reach the child, so that the decay won't start from inside. Then he was now showing us like a part on her hand that was like that started decaying, and like he's going to redo the embalmment that day because it didn't exactly reach everywhere on her body because she's pregnant and the baby has to come first. He talked about other people, but just this woman's own just entered in my head. So we left the compound. We are going to follow from another door to enter the main mortuary. And I was already shook. So when we came out, some people gave up. They were like, nah, I can't do this again. I'm not entering anymore. I've already seen. I've seen enough. I don't want to see anything again. Of course, the curiosity in me was greater and stronger than my brain. And my brain was like, bitch, are you sure you want to go? And curiosity was like, bro, we're going. We opened the door and I was like, now this is the place where you don't laugh, you don't ask questions, you don't talk. I will be the only one doing the talking, so just listen. It was like, okay, you have to go in a single file. There was this girl behind me. I was second to the last person. I was like, okay, she's going to close the door, and I kept walking. But the guy was behind too. He was like, okay, I'll close the door by myself. And he closed it. I was like, wait, why didn't the girl close the door? What was her problem? Why didn't she close the door? And I turned back. Bro, the girl gave up at the last minute. She didn't enter. I'm like, I hope this doesn't turn into some sort of horror movie because it would not be funny. Now I went to the front so that you lead us. And he was like, put your flashlights on so that you don't step on your body. And I put my flashlight on. I saw bodies beside me on the floor. Bodies were arranged left and right. And I was like, Ebubechi, are you sure you want to do this? I was like, man, you've already started, you've already entered, and that is it. It is what it is. So we are going. The place was not ventilated. Like all the windows were closed, and we were what would I put it? Enclosed in formalin. We were enclosed in formalin, and I was like, bro, I hope I don't faint here. I don't want to join this corpses. I don't want, the last place I want to faint is here. I've never fainted in this life, and this shouldn't be the first place I'll faint. Like, guy, just kept going. I was like, isn't this thing finishing? Like, I want to reach in the end. So we reached this place where there was a side door. So he opened the door for lights and ventilation. We now reached the end, and he was talking. I said, bro, we are engulfed in formalin. We know you like the smell, but we're not familiar with this. We don't like this smell. Can you be done? After everything, we started leaving. We came out alive. This guy was like, any questions? If I have questions, oh God, please, my shift has finished. I want to go home because it's already 2:30. Please, sparks. And once I got to my room, I removed my clothes at the door. Removed my shoe at the door. I said, no, you're not going any further than this. We are staying here to further notice. I felt like I was drenched in formalin. So I thought it was over. I've gone to the mortuary now. I've seen it. I thought it was over. But no, it wasn't. In the night, I was in my room. It was one of those nights where I wasn't exactly feeling sleepy. Like, I knew I had sleep because I had after morning duty the next day. But I wasn't feeling sleepy. Nobody was online. Nothing was happening. Everything was boring. But I just couldn't sleep. I didn't even remember that I went to the mortuary. I didn't even remember the bodies, nothing. So later, I started feeling sleepy. But the way the sleep was coming is like the way I feel sleepy before I get sleep paralysis. Like, it comes with this fear. You'd be very scared. Like, the fear will just come from nowhere. And then you'll be feeling really sleepy. And once you close your eye, boom, you get paralyzed in your sleep. So I prayed. I was like, oh my blood of Jesus, take over. Like, okay, nothing happened to me, let me sleep. Immediately I closed my eye. Instead of it to be sleep paralysis, I saw that lady, the pregnant one. The way I jumped up, I just remember I went to the mortuary. I remembered everything. The fear now came proper. Jesus Christ. I was shook. Like, tears were legit just coming out from her eye. I didn't want to cry. I was just sweating from her eye. And it was just pouring out. I was like, what's going on? And I just went online in case there's somebody online that I can talk to. At least everybody was offline. And I posted that Omo, who sent me to go to the mortuary, oh, I cannot sleep now. So my best friend now texted me. I think she just came online that period. She was like, wow, try to sleep, she was like, try to watch videos, movies, or like YouTube videos so that you can like fall asleep from there. I was like, okay, thank you. And then there was this other friend that was also online. She was like, sorry, you just don't think about it, pray, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, no problem. That one removed a little bit of fear, but I knew that I wasn't going to sleep that night. I didn't sleep. When I slept, it was by 6 a.m. when it had already become bright. My shift was by 8, and then I slept by 6, and then I set an alarm for 7, and I woke up by 7. I rushed. I still went early. I don't think I want to go to the mortuary again. Anyways, I'm done. I am done of this story. I am done with this story. I'm just done. I'm legit having goosebumps right now, remembering it. Like, if you enjoyed this video, if you have reached this point, please hit the subscribe button and the like button and the notification bell. And if you've had any encounter in a mortuary, like you've gone to a mortuary before, come down to the comment section and like tell me. And then any stories you've had about mortuary at all, just like come on. I love listening to those stories. Actually, I love reading them, I love listening to them. This have come to the end of my video.